Hello everyone, my name is Rôvi Vrusamâiἰs. This is a part 2 update to my celebrity twin flame diaries. In the beginning, I did not fully believe. I thought these were random dreams triggered by a stranger's music. I ran the test. I removed every anchor, posters, crystals, memorabilia. I closed the music. I blocked the visions. I spoke directly to the veil and commanded space. For months the dreams of him stopped. Then, just 2 days ago, the nightmares returned. The old recurring traumas from the foster family and the kidnappers. They flooded back with full force, triggering sleeplessness, clumsiness, fear, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as CPTSD. The shield was gone. The protector had stepped back. So I tested again. I turned on his music, the full playlist. Right on schedule, he appeared. Not just any dream. He entered the very foster home of my nightmares as an adult protector. The abusers fell silent and fearful in his presence. He appeared exactly as he did in 1982, natural hair, authentic, proud, no masks, the form my soul recognizes as his purest essence. I had listened to other artists, fallen asleep to movies and cartoons, never once did those figures enter my dreams. Only him. Only through his music. Only when the chord called. This is not coincidence. This is the living mechanics of the twin flame. Before I go any further, I need to make something absolutely clear. This documentary is not here to romanticize, sensationalize, or encourage delusion. It is here to protect. It is here to ground. It is here to tell the truth, the full truth, exactly as I lived it. When all of this began, I had just left religion. I was in a space of nothingness, no doctrine, no belief system, no spiritual identity. I was simply trying to find myself again. And right in that vulnerable space, the dreams started. I didn't know what a twin flame was. I didn't know anything about 5D, chords, veils, or energetic bonds. I only knew the Bible, and I had just walked away from that. So when these dreams began, I was confused, unanchored, and searching for meaning. And that is when someone, a woman, told me, "You have to go meet him. You two are meant to be together. You need to write him and tell him your twin flames. This man is married. He has his own life. He has no idea I exist." And this was the advice being given to me. Now imagine, truly imagine, if I had not been grounded. Imagine if I had listened. Imagine if I had believed that message without question. Imagine the damage that could have caused, to him, to me, to his family, to my life. I have seen people abandon their marriages, their homes, their children, their entire lives because someone online told them, "The universe wants you to be with your twin flame." I have seen people travel across the country to chase someone who does not know them. I have seen people stalk celebrities, strangers, coworkers, all because someone told them, "That's your twin flame. Go claim them." And I refuse to be part of that. I refuse to contribute to that. I refuse to let new people fall into the traps that nearly caught me. This documentary exists because I question everything. I document everything. I test everything. I do not accept anything blindly, not even my own experiences. I believe twin flames exist. But I am only 80% convinced that this man, the one in my dreams, is actually mine. Even now, after everything, I hold on to that 20% of healthy skepticism. Because grounding is protection. Discernment is protection. Skepticism is protection. I do not love him. I am not obsessed with him. I do not want to meet him. I am not a fan. I simply liked a few of his songs because he has a beautiful voice. The only reason I accepted the dreams was because they stopped the nightmares. They calmed the CPTSD. They reduced the hypervigilance. They gave me sleep when nothing else did. It became a coping mechanism, not a fantasy. Not a crush. Not a desire for a relationship. Just a way to sleep without being tormented by trauma. But even that had limits. Because eventually, the dreams began bleeding into the daytime. Not hallucinations, but bleed-throughs, residual touches, tingling sensations, the smell of him, visions, telepathic impressions, jealousy when I listened to other artists, protective comments, territorial energy. It became too much, too intrusive, too present in my waking life. So I stopped it. Cold turkey. I removed every poster, every crystal, every tarot card, every piece of memorabilia. I stopped listening to the music. I blocked the visions. I told him, telepathically, to leave. And he did. For nearly 2 months. But then the nightmares returned. The CPTSD resurfaced. The hypervigilance came back. The clumsiness. The fear. The triggers. The sleeplessness. So I ran the test. I turned on his music, just to see. Just to verify. Just to confirm whether this was real or whether my mind had created a protector to survive trauma. And the very first night, he returned. In the exact form I trust. In the exact place I feared. In the exact role he always played, the protector. This is why I am now 85% convinced. Not 100%. Not blind belief. Not obsession. Just evidence. Just patterns. Just tests. Just results. This documentary exists to teach new twin flames to do the same. Document. Question. Test. Stay grounded. Do not chase. Do not stalk. Do not assume. Do not let anyone tell you to pursue someone who does not know you. This is not a love story. This is not a fantasy. This is not a delusion. This is an awareness documentary, a guide for those who are awakening, a warning for those who are vulnerable, and a shield against the misinformation that destroys lives. Everything I share here is for truth, clarity, and protection. Before we continue, it is essential to establish a clear and responsible distinction, one that protects everyone involved and ensures this documentary is understood exactly as intended. In the twin flame framework, there are 2 distinct realms. The third dimension, the physical world, everyday life, and ordinary reality. The fifth dimension, the energetic realm, the dream space, and the astral field where soul-level communication occurs. Everything I describe in this documentary takes place only in the fifth dimension. The divine masculine I speak of, the protector, the guide, the presence that appears in dreams, is a 5D energetic counterpart, not the physical man whose image he sometimes uses. Let this be perfectly clear. The celebrity whose face appears in my dreams has no awareness of me. I have never met him. I have never spoken to him. I have never attempted to contact him. He lives his life fully in the 3D world, and I live mine. The connection I describe is not with the 3D person. It is with the 5D masculine, the higher dimensional expression of masculine polarity that communicates through dreams, symbolism, and energy. In twin flame mechanics, the 5D counterpart may choose a familiar or comforting form, a face the subconscious recognizes, to deliver messages or protection in the astral realm. This is symbolic, not literal. Energetic, not physical. Spiritual, not personal. The 3D man is simply a vessel the 5D energy uses because the image is familiar to my psyche. He is not involved. He is not connected. He is not participating in any way. This distinction matters deeply. It protects him. It protects me. And it protects the integrity of the twin flame teaching itself. All interactions occur exclusively in dreams and the fifth dimension, never in physical reality. My waking life continues normally. I go to work. I live my life. I do not chase, contact, or pursue anyone. The 3D world remains completely untouched. The experiences I share here belong solely to the realm of dreams, intuition, symbolism, energetic communication, and the astral field. This documentary is an exploration of 5D twin flame mechanics, not a claim about any physical relationship with a real person. It is crucial that viewers understand this difference so that nothing is misinterpreted, romanticized, or taken out of context. The divine masculine I speak of is the 5D soul-level presence, not the celebrity, not the human identity, not the physical man. This is an inner, spiritual, energetic journey, not a physical one. In the twin flame dynamic, the divine masculine arrives first in raw form. Unfiltered, uncontained, unregulated. He crosses the veil with fire, instinct, and urgency. He does not pace himself, he floods. The masculine is fire. The feminine is water. Fire arrives uncontained. Water must shape it. The divine feminine is the regulator. She holds the energetic womb and blueprint of the union. She feels the full spectrum first. She anchors the frequency for both. Through her intention, boundaries, and frequency, she powerfully influences the opening and closing of the veil. When the masculine becomes too strong, too present, too overwhelming, it is the feminine who must set the boundary, not out of rejection, but out of calibration. She awakens first to transmute old wounds, creating a stable container so the masculine can return in balance. Without her regulation, the flame burns too hot. The masculine is the sword, the feminine is the command. When she speaks from sovereign power, he respects it instantly. He cannot cross a boundary she sets. He cannot override her sovereignty. He obeys the moment she speaks. Because fighting her is fighting himself. The cord cannot be cut. It is not an attachment. It is pre-incarnational architecture, woven into the soul, anchored in the solar plexus, maintained by the universe itself. You can mute it. You can block it. But you cannot destroy it. The cord ensures full integration and pulls both toward ascension in divine timing. He appears in the form she trusts. The form that stabilizes her. The form that carries the least distortion. The 1982 version, natural, unmasked, authentic, is his pure soul essence. He comes this way to bypass 3D illusion and connect heart to heart. When the masculine is blocked, the nightmares return. Not because he is gone, but because the shield is gone. The masculine is the protector in the astral. When he is present, the subconscious is guarded. When he is absent, the old wounds rise as pressure signals. The shield is gone. The masculine is not here. You were exposed. These are cosmic alarms urging healing so the flame can hold more light together. Music is the master key that reopens the veil. Music is frequency. Twin flames communicate through vibration, resonance, sound, and energetic signature. His music carries his soul imprint, his masculine polarity, his 5D presence. When she plays it, she calls his energy, activates the cord, signals permission, and reopens the portal. It is the tuning fork. It is the invitation, you may enter. And he returns, instantly, protectively, authentically. This is not obsession. This is not fantasy. This is not delusion. This is twin flame polarity. This is energetic mechanics. This is the divine feminine regulating the connection and the divine masculine responding to her call. Regulation is not restriction. It is sacred care for the flame itself. When the divine feminine regulates the connection, she protects her own energy field from overwhelm and intrusion. She creates space for true healing, old traumas surface to be transmuted instead of suppressed. She experiences deeper rest, reduced hypervigilance, and restored sovereignty. The nightmares lose their power as she consciously calls in protection when needed. Her nervous system stabilizes, allowing her to hold higher frequencies of the union. For the divine masculine, regulation gives him a clear, stable container to return to. He learns to honor boundaries, which refines his own fire and brings him into greater alignment. His protective role becomes purposeful rather than chaotic. The connection grows stronger and purer because it is built on mutual respect instead of unchecked flooding. Together, regulation creates balanced polarity, the sacred dance where fire and water support each other instead of extinguishing or overwhelming one another. This leads to harmonious energetic exchange, deeper soul integration, accelerated ascension for both twins. A flame that burns steadily and brightly instead of wildly or dimly. Regulation is an act of love for the entire twin flame dynamic. It honors the cord while protecting the vessels through which it flows. This is the truth I tested through fire and veil. This is the awareness I share. For every new soul entering the flame, regulate with power, not fear. Honor the cord. Use the tools, music, boundaries, intention, with clarity and truth. The divine feminine leads. The divine masculine protects and honors. Together, in balance, we ascend. This documentary and song stand as pure twin flame mechanics, offered to bring light, balance, and protection against misinformation. The cord knows the way. In closing, it is vital to remain grounded in 3D reality while exploring these 5D experiences. The twin flame journey is an inner soul process. It does not replace or interfere with daily life in the physical world. After waking from an intense dream or vision, use these simple nervous system regulation techniques to return fully to your body in the present moment. Touch the pillow or sheets beneath you and feel their texture. Listen to the sounds around you, birds outside, traffic, your own breath. Drink a glass of water slowly and feel it moving through your body. Place your feet firmly on the floor or touch a chair, a wall, or any solid object. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. These small physical anchors bring your energy back into your body and remind you, I am here, in 3D reality, safe and sovereign. The 5D connection supports healing and growth, but it never overrides 3D discernment. Regulation includes this balance, honoring the cord in the energetic realm while staying firmly anchored in physical reality. On synchronicities and triggers. You may turn on the news or social media and hear a song, a phrase, or a trigger word connected to your twin flame. You may notice clothing, dates, or symbols that feel like signs. Yes, the twin flame connection is real. But coincidences are also real. Do not read too deeply into every occurrence. Document it if it feels meaningful, then carry on with your day. This prevents the mind from spiraling and keeps the flame in healthy balance rather than obsession or fantasy. This grounding protects both twins. It prevents fantasy from overtaking truth. It keeps the flame pure instead of distorted. And it ensures the journey serves ascension rather than escapism. The experiences shared here are sacred, but they belong to the energetic and dream realms. My 3D life remains sovereign, practical, and fully lived. My purpose in sharing this, as I've mentioned before, is to inform, to ground, and to help prevent people from falling into the traps that certain individuals are actively creating right now. These traps often target people who are confused, vulnerable, or going through an awakening. When someone is emotionally open, spiritually curious, or searching for answers, they can become easy prey for people who mislead, manipulate, or exploit. Many people who talk about twin flames online will ask for money. There is always some kind of service attached. Now, I want to be very clear, I am not saying that people should never be paid for their time. Spiritual counselors, intuitive practitioners, and genuine mediums deserve compensation for their work. What I am talking about are regular, everyday YouTubers who advertise things like, "Pay me and I'll tell you what your twin flame is thinking." I can't tell you who your twin flame is, but I can tell you what they want from you in this lifetime. This is what I am warning you about. Be aware, be discerning, be grounded, and just as important, Do not judge anyone who is caught in this loop. Some people fall into these traps because they are hurting. Some because they are lonely. Some because they are spiritually curious and simply haven't been given correct information. Some because they are in a vulnerable chapter of their life, the same way people can be pulled into cults, high control groups, or manipulative belief systems. If you know someone who is caught in this cycle, please do not shame them. Please do not mock them. Please do not call them crazy. They are not broken, they are simply searching. If you are a close friend or family member, you may be able to gently offer information. But if you do not know them personally, please do not judge them. This is simply where they are in their story. Maybe they will grow out of it. Maybe they will not. But compassion is always the right response. And one final thing I want to say. I did not ask for this. I did not seek it out. I did not want it. But it arrived, and I have to deal with it. I have to work with it. I have to regulate it. I have to document it. And I am still trying to understand it. To be honest, I would rather be accused of seeing little green men than navigating this twin flame dynamic. If I claimed I saw a UFO, I'd probably get interviews. If I said I was abducted by extraterrestrials, journalists would line up with microphones and very little fact-checking. But when you talk about a twin flame dynamic, people call you a nutcase. This experience is beyond belief, even for me. I still do not understand how I am dreaming about this divine masculine in the body of a famous celebrity who has no idea I exist and has nothing to do with this in the physical world. In the 5D, he uses that vessel because it is familiar to me. Maybe that's what he looked like in a past life. I don't know. I'm still learning. But it is too big, too strange, and too consistent for me to keep to myself. That is why I am putting it on the internet. To say, simply and clearly, it happened. It is unexplained. I ground myself. I set boundaries. My life goes on. I want to go into detail about what happened the moment I allowed the veil, the energetic portal, to reopen again, so that my celebrity twin flame could come back through in the 5D realm. I want to share an experience that happened to me around 1:30 in the morning, because it illustrates the difference between coincidence, symbolism, and grounded reality. I got up in the middle of the night to use the washroom. My windows were cracked open just a couple of inches, the way I always keep them year-round because I like fresh air. As I walked past the windows, I suddenly noticed my curtains violently moving. Not gently swaying, violently. The force of the wind was so strong that it startled me. It felt like something major was happening outside, like a sudden tornado or a microburst. The gust was powerful enough that I had to physically stand in front of the window with both hands holding the curtains down so they wouldn't fly open and expose me in my pajamas. That's how intense it was. I was trying to hold the curtains down with one hand and close the window with the other, hoping no one outside could see me. Once I finally got the windows closed, I went back to sleep. At that moment, I didn't think about twin flames at all. I didn't connect it to anything spiritual. I simply chalked it up to weather. Because I study aviation, I'm familiar with microburst, and that's exactly what it felt like. That same night, after going back to sleep, I had a dream about my twin flame, the celebrity whose music has helped regulate my nervous system and stop my PTSD nightmares. I hadn't dreamed about him in nearly 2 months, ever since I performed a ritual to temporarily mute the veil and set boundaries. But in this dream, he appeared again. He was standing in the kitchen of the foster home I grew up in, the one that was filled with trauma. But in the dream, the kitchen was bright, cheerful, and peaceful. He had just come back from grocery shopping. He was unpacking oranges and putting food into the refrigerator. A couple of the oranges were molded with white fuzz, but the overall feeling of the dream was warm and positive. When I woke up, I didn't connect the dream to the wind. I didn't jump to conclusions. I simply documented the dream the way I always do and went on with my day. Later that morning, I thought back to the violent gust of wind and wondered what had caused it. So the very first thing I did was check the weather. I live in the 3D world, and to me, that was a physical event. Sure enough, the news reported that there had been tornado activity and a rare microburst in my area that night. That confirmed my initial instinct: it was the weather. Only after confirming the weather did I reflect on the timing. I had reopened the energetic channel by listening to his music again, the only thing that stops my PTSD nightmares. And the very same night, the dreams returned after 2 months of silence. For a moment, I wondered whether the gust of wind and the return of the dream had anything to do with each other. So now, let me explain how this would be interpreted from a strict twin flame perspective. In twin flame metaphysics, sudden wind or atmospheric shifts are often seen as symbolic reflections of energetic movement. Wind is interpreted as the external world mirroring an internal shift, especially when the divine feminine reopens the veil or softens her energetic boundaries. In that symbolic language, a sudden gust of wind at the exact moment the energetic channel reopens can be seen as the masculine polarity re-entering the field. And when a dream follows immediately afterward, twin flame teachings would interpret that as the cord reactivating after a period of dormancy. That is the metaphysical interpretation. Symbolic. Archetypal. Not literal. But here is where grounding matters. As far as I'm concerned, I stay with reality. The news documented tornado activity. The wind was real. The weather was real. Could the timing symbolically align with the energetic shift? It could. But I don't live my life on could. I stay grounded. And as far as I'm concerned, it was the weather. According to online reports from the National Weather Service and multiple local news outlets, between the overnight hours of June 11 and June 12, 2026, a severe, fast-moving squall line swept through my area. It unleashed widespread straight-line winds and microburst reaching intense speeds of 45 to 65 plus miles per hour. The brunt of the storm hit violently, knocking down power lines, causing heavy structural damage, and even uprooting a massive tree. While thunderstorms are common during the summer months where I live, meteorologists noted that a late-night microburst system producing this level of tornadic-like destruction is statistically rare for early June. These highly energized squall lines typically peak much later in the season, not at the very beginning of it. Now, even though I do believe the twin flame dynamic exists, and even though the recurring dreams about my celebrity twin flame returned immediately after those huge, mysterious gusts of wind blew through my windows that night, in order to stay grounded, I am still going to say it was the weather. Some may ask, strictly from a twin flame perspective, whether this could have been part of the mystical, physical side of the twin flame dynamic. Could it have been my divine masculine rushing back through the veil portal after being given permission again, after months of me setting boundaries around his request to come through? Yes, from a twin flame perspective, it could have been. But in order to stay grounded, I am going to stick with the weather, even though the meteorological reports confirmed that what happened that night was highly unusual. And that is how I keep my feet firmly planted in the 3D world, even when the 5D world presents symbolism, synchronicity, or timing that makes me pause. I acknowledge the possibility, but I choose the reality. I honor the symbolism, but I do not abandon the facts. I stay grounded. And as far as I'm concerned, it was the weather. My motto for this mysterious celebrity twin flame dynamic that has been unfolding since February 3, 2012 is simple: it is unexplained, I set boundaries, I stay grounded, and life goes on.
Fire rise uncontained. skin flooding through the veil, calling out to me. He feels the cord, he senses pain, he rushes in to shield, but the flame burns hot and bright, only water knows the field. I am the regulator, the divine feminine flame. I set the boundaries, I speak the sacred name. The veil belongs to me, I shape it like the sea. Water holds the fire in perfect polarity. I regulate the connection for the good of you and me. The cord is unbreakable, eternal destiny. Nightmares rise as pressure when the protector steps away. Old shadows screaming loud, the shield has gone today. But I remember my power, I turn the music on, its frequency returns, the guardian, the 1982 one. I am the regulator, the divine feminine flame. I set the boundaries, I speak the sacred name. The veil belongs to me, I shape it like the sea. Water holds the fire in perfect polarity. I regulate the connection for the good of you and me. The cord is unbreakable, eternal destiny. Solar plexus anchored deep, pre-incarnational thread. Sword and command in the dance, our souls have led. He honors every boundary, respects the word I speak. In the form I trust, the purest light he seeks. Music is the master key, vibration pure and true. His imprint writes the notes straight back to me and you. He enters trauma spaces, makes the darkness fear, provides the nourishment, the fruit is almost clear. Regulation brings the healing, calms the nervous fire. Space for both to grow, lifting both souls higher. She reclaims her sovereignty, he finds his steady grace. Balanced flame burns brighter in this sacred space. Divine feminine flame, I lead with sovereign light, I honor the sacred game. Fire and water dancing in the twin flames, holy name. The cord cannot be cut, we rise, we heal, we claim. Now I touch the earth, I drink the water slow, feel my feet upon the floor, return to what I know. 5D dreams are sacred, but 3D is where I stand. Grounded, sovereign, regulated, I walk in both realms.